Everything's breeding at the moment. I don't know what it is. There must be something in the water. Oh, sorry. I actually can't sing, although that didn't sound too bad, I don't think. So we're stood in front of the ecosystem tank. It is popping off. There's babies coming, popping off. So anyway, we've got babies everywhere at the moment. We've got babies in the Krib tank down here. We've got platy babies, and we have got tons of babies in the tank behind me, the ecosystem tank. In the last video, when I put the fish in, I remember saying, oh look, these endlers, they look like they're gonna pop. There we go, look, she's got some inside. They're both actually carrying at the moment, so they'll be laying again soon. So that's why they'll be absolutely brilliant to be able to put into the new ecosystem aquarium, because we're gonna get more babies straight away pretty much. Look at them, they're ready to pop, to be fair. Yeah, let's do it now. Well, guess what? Literally the next day, they have popped everywhere. So yeah, everything's going extremely well with the tank. I couldn't be more pleased with the start. A few weird little things going on, but overall, perfect. I'm not even kidding you, perfect. So yeah, obviously the coolest thing so far, the babies. There's sort of babies dotted around everywhere, in every gap. Like, it's so cool. It's gonna be just full of endlers in no time. Imagine it. Hundreds of them, all adults, colourful as anything you'd like. I don't know what that means, but yeah, even more colourful than this bad boy here, the snake skin. Just everywhere. It's going to look so awesome, isn't it? I cannot wait for that. But one of the weird things that I've noticed so far, see all of this in the middle? Let me zoom. All this weird sort of browny stuff. Well, do you know what that is? Hang on, there's some more down here as well, look. Piles of it in there. That is all the wood being chewed off, this manzanita wood. So I put in, what was it, 10 Otto Cinclus in here. And then also I put in 3... there they are, there's one at the back there, 3 of the Ancestrus plecos, bristle noses. Yeah, so look, they're the same size, they shouldn't be. The bristle nose will get like 3 times the size of that Otto, but oh, they're buddies, look at the little buddies. So yeah, they've all been munching on this wood, and that's why you're not seeing any of that weird sort of white fungusy stuff on anything, because there's constantly Amanos and the Ottos and the bristle nose plecos just chewing on it, and as a result, it just sort of falls down and makes a bit of a mess. But I'll tell you one thing, if you notice this plant here, for instance, this plant here, there's a slight tinge of different colours coming off of them. That is all the brand new growth, and that's why I'm saying it's such an excellent, perfect start. It's because the plants are growing already. If you can get the plants to grow straight away like we've done here, you can't really go wrong, as long as you haven't got massively high lighting like I do on the Krib tank, which has meant that even though the plants are growing, there's a ton of algae. But to be honest, it is getting better. More on that tank in a minute. Overall though, everything's exploding. Like all of these plants back here starting to sort of spread out a lot more. They're all peeking up from the background more now. Everything's starting to spread as well, including the sage, which is what we wanted it to do. I wanted to keep on top of it though. I don't want too tall amounts of it, because it just goes everywhere and you won't see any other plant. All of the plants over in this corner as well, the rotalas and everything, again, growing. They're sort of leaning that way because the filter here is producing quite a lot of flow. If you look down, look, you see that? Even at this side of the tank, even though it's over there, it's still pushing the plants around. That's good. That's what you want. It basically means that some areas are going to have higher flow, but even the lower flow parts are still going to have water movement, which just stops it just like getting a filthy mess and creating algae later on down the line. But look at this, look. Whoa, whoa, they seem to love it. It's not as fast flow as it looks, but the endler's going nuts there. See, look down here, look. There you go, look, just some female. Oh, maybe he's showing off. He's showing off to the girls. I think you've done enough mating, my friend. Click subscribe. So I'm over at the Green Restorer tank that we set up this weekend. It's doing really well. Again, another one that's off to a fly. I seem to be doing really, really good at the moment, and I think the reason for that is I'm sticking to my own rules. Medium lighting, long duration, tons of plants. So it might look really bright on camera, but this lighting level is just a budget LED. At the end of the day, it's not powerful, therefore you're not blasting the tank with light and causing a ton of algae and problems to start with. And I think that's why my tanks do well. Like I've said to you guys before, 12 hours of lighting at a medium to low level, I find works better without CO2 than highlighting, you know, for a shorter duration. There's no doubt about it, highlighting, short duration, CO2, all those things work the absolute best for like plant growth speed and general sort of plant health for sure. But you know, I don't like the CO2 route because I just think it's faff. It's not just that, it's not faff if you've got a nice display tank in your house, that kind of thing. But for me it's faff because I've got 50 tanks. Can you imagine trying to set up a CO2 system in all of them? And that is what I'd want to do. If I started doing it to one of them, I'd want to start putting CO2 on everything. And let's just, you know, it's just going down a path that I do not want to take. Imagine the costs as well. I mean, and the constant refilling of the canisters, that's another thing. I don't like having to rely on anyone or anything else for anything. And that means I've got to go into that place and get it filled up. And nah, not doing it. It's one of the reasons why I'm really put off of salt water as well, is because you've got to get the sort of salt water. I mean, I know you can make your own, but again, it's more sort of, I don't know, it's adding to a list of jobs when I've already got so many going on that like, I don't want to have to worry about those sort of details at all. One day though, when I've got a full team behind me, we can definitely get into the marine, especially when I get into the bigger tanks as well, because loads you keep putting in the comment section, when you get monster fish, well, I mean, I'm not into that at the moment because of the tank sizes. I can't get monster fish in 4-foot aquariums, which is basically the maximum size I have. I'm on the second floor, remember, I don't want to go any bigger than that. But when I've got another studio that's on the ground floor and bigger, we can go much bigger tanks. I'll keep all the tanks that I've got here at the moment in this studio, but I'm going to put them, you know, in and amongst around huge tanks as well. Oh my goodness, if you guys only knew the plans I've got. I don't like announcing things until it's done though, because otherwise it, you know, it might not happen and then you just look silly. So here is the discus tank. If you guys remember, recently I told you how quickly the cyanobacteria comes back after you clear it. So it's all coming back already, and that's the main reason I want to change this tank. Obviously, all the flow and everything's getting disrupted, the waste getting caught inside these mountains. Mountains? Islands, whatever. So what I want to do today is just take out the plants that I want to sort of save to reuse again, and I'll put them in a bucket, a black bucket, and cover them up so that there's no light hitting them for a good, I'm going to leave them for a week, and that should kill off any of the cyanobacteria, and they'll be really good to use then in a new setup. Again, this is quite cool. It was quite cool when I've done it as well. It just wasn't right. If the fish need a lot of feeding, they produce a lot of waste, and therefore we need much better plants, we need more substrate, you know, we need everything to cope with that waste. So yeah, at this point it's just a case of getting out what I want. There's some really nice trident ferns in there that actually look pretty darn clean as well. Some there's a big section of it there. So yeah, and all these new baby Java ferns as well, they'll look great in a new setup. Right, that thing is full of baby Java ferns and Anubias. I'm going to leave this on top now for just a good few days. That should kill off the cyanobacteria, and then we're good to use it again. This is like 4 layers of like weed blocker for like your garden. I've got loads of it because I use it around the studio when I'm trying to, you know, just stop reflections and stuff behind me. But that would work a treat, and hopefully we can reuse all those plants. Well, not hopefully, we're gonna use them. Right, so admittedly, that does not look great, does it? But all that's really left in there is the the rubbishy bits that I didn't really want. That's absolutely fine. Just leave that for a bit. It's good to have some sort of greenery in there, isn't there, just while we're waiting. I'll give it a week or so. This will all come out and we will start the build project with these guys. I'm hoping this one's going to be something really special. I want to open things up more but still have such a high visual impact. So to do that, what I'm looking at doing is building along the sort of base of the tank and up the back, and that way the whole area is available for swimming. I mean, they've got a decent amount of room now. This is a deep tank, remember, look how deep it is versus them, so they're going to have even more room to swim about in. What would be nice to do is eventually when I do get a new studio is just get like a 6-foot tank or something like that. That'd be so cool. Massive shoal in there of some other fish with them. Wow, yeah. I mean, this tank is big enough, but you know we can always go bigger. You should go as big as you can given the circumstances you're in. At the moment, a 4-foot tank that's as deep as this is all I really want to go to up here in the studio. But I can tell you now, this tank is so much bigger than what they had before I bought them. The tank they were actually grown in from babies was half this size. Anyway, that's not important. They've got a bigger tank now and they're gonna have an even bigger tank in the future. What will be really good is to treat this next project as a trial run for the bigger tanks, because at some point it's gonna be happening. Right guys, we're on day 7 of Krib Watch. I've just come into the studio. First thing I do at the moment is come and check the tank, and a load of the babies were just dotted about the place and I was really worried. Well, it turns out that Mum and Dad were just in the process of moving the fry around. Now I'm noticing the female is getting far more aggressive at this point. Her territory that she's protecting seems to be a lot bigger, so it's actually now sort of like this whole corner that you can see, like there's no fish around anywhere because they must be obviously like wary now of coming any closer. So they're all huddled up here. I don't know whether to take them out or not. I mean, that might disturb everything a bit too much. So the territory is pretty much like 3/4 of the tank that she won't let them go anywhere near. A couple of days ago, they're all hovering quite close, like, you know, they're around like here. There's gonna let that one go. You happy with that one there? Really? Come on, Daddy. No, they're fine with it. Okay, cool. Fine with a few Otocinclus, but definitely not the Tetra. They don't want them any closer at this stage. I mean, I am happy for that because I really, really want these fish to survive. Fry, should I say. But look, swimming around loads. Lots of swimming. They don't stay really close to the mum anymore. She's constantly have to go around, and the daddy, and like pick them up the mouse. He just did it there and he keeps going every... Whoa! There we go. Some big aggression going on. They don't ever seem to keep attacking. They just sort of push them away. So I think everything's okay in terms of, you know, safety for the other fish. I don't think I need to remove anything. At the end of the day, there's plenty of places for them to go away and hide. And the cribs just stop chasing them as soon as they do clear off. So, oh, look at that. Look at that lot, see? Swimming around loads now. So cool to see. What do you think, guys? Give me some help. Should I remove the other fish? Will that upset everything too much? Should I just leave it all completely alone and just let nature do its thing? It's just so hard to know what is the correct thing when you've never experienced this before. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of breeders out there that have done this lots of times, but breeders don't tend to keep other stuff in their tank, do they? So, it's so hard. Everything seems to be going well, so I'm one of those people that's like, don't fix it if it's not broke, or if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I think probably just leave it. Let me know, what do you think? Well guys, I've just got back from the aquarium shop. I got a ton of plants, and then I realised that all of my plant tanks, that I store them all in, not really show tanks, just really good for growing plants out, they're full. Yeah, so I've currently got this tank down here full, this tank down here full, this tank here is full, this tank here is full, this one's full, and this one's full. This one is also full, and so is this one full. I think basically I've got some sort of plant addiction. I can't stop buying them. I mean, even when I was in the shop getting them, I was thinking, I haven't got any space for these. I'm gonna have to set up another tank. And then I thought, no, it'd be fine. You'll squeeze them in. No, I can't squeeze them in. It's actually not good for the plants to do that either, because you'll sort of block light and everything like that, and flow, etc. So yeah, I've got that tank spare in the other room. Remember, I set it up, well, I just put it in there temporarily, but it worked really well. Yeah, we've got this one here, look. So it is right in front of the window. Should probably put a black background on it. Maybe I'll see if I've got any film. If I haven't got any film, I'm just going to put the plants in and do that at a later date. Like I said to you guys before, I kept painting all my backgrounds because I didn't know I had this, and I've just found it because the other day I found the clear one, which is down there. Yeah, so the reason I'm putting the black background is obviously because we're by the window. Now, most of the day is completely fine, but for about a couple of hours in the afternoon, the sun is like there, so it'll be blasting through on the plants, and even a couple of hours might be a bit too much. Even though I've got tint on the window, it still comes in quite strong. So if I black up the back you know, it's going to be absolutely perfect. Right, I'm quickly going to razor the grass. It's not grass, it's glass. With this rusty blade. Just quickly give it a quick going over. You can feel like there's bits on it, like every now and again, and you don't really want to get those underneath of the black film. So they will show up very easily. There's little tiny little bubbles. It wouldn't matter too much, but I don't want to see it. And then a quick wipe down with some rubbing alcohol. Just make sure any grease or anything like that is completely off, and it thoroughly cleans it all as well. Oh, strong. That's when you know it's clean, because it's started squeaking. Right, next we want to spray it down with a washing up liquid solution. Just cover everything. That's why I put the tea towels down underneath, so that they just sort of mop any drips up. So on top of this we can lay our sheet, right, just like that. It's cut almost to size, and then we can peel off the top to expose the sticky side and spray that down as well. Well, I thought we could, but this is very hard. There we go. So the point of that is that it keeps it all stuck down, look. Nice, now that is perfectly clean. Next up, spray this one down loads as well. Just chuck it on, you can't put too much on. And then just flip it round. There we go. Now we can just squeegee it out from the center, and then just trim it up. It is now the next morning. As you can see, everything's cleared up, looking good, perfect. Now we've got some space for even more plants. I better go buy some. So we've got Krib babies, we've got platy babies, we've got loads of Endler babies. Everything's breeding at the moment. I don't know what it is. There must be something in the water. Oh, sorry. I actually can't sing, although that didn't sound too bad, I don't think. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this video, click the like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys on the next one.